Yo, what up? This your boy Tim, aka T.O. Speaks.
And it's your girl Yami, aka Yam Speed Sand, and you are now tuned into Love and Theology.
I made sure I got it right. I was waiting on it that time.
I know I've questioned many things in this world, but I never had to question your love. So I know one thing's for sure. I can put trust in real love, your love.
For every mom who ever missed a meal so they would have enough to let their babies eat. Fathers who grind every day to provide more than good advice. Charlie Sheen, take it every...
Yo, what up? So, what is this? Episode? We're going into episode 9, and as always, we want to say thank you. What?
10.
Episode 10, my bad. And as always, I want to say thank you for joining with us and listening to us and rocking with us. So we are so just humbled by everybody's response.
Yes.
You want to start over? Okay. But so, yo, this week. So tell me, what was the affirmation that we're gonna do? Like, what are you grateful for this week?
What is something good that happened?
Something
this
good that
week?
happened this week.
What happened that was good this week? I have made what?
Your daddy be throwing shade.
What you say?
You know, I said this is what I said to him. I said, "Good morning. Just wanted to take a moment to say, how about them Atlanta Braves? Have a great day." He said, "Good morning, Tim. Great for the Braves. They gave the people of Georgia some comfort, contrary to the Falcons getting crushed last week by the Panthers. You have a great day."
Anyway, what's the thought? I have made a personal decision to focus on praying for my friends for the month of November, and that's been positive for me because it gives me space to be positive as opposed to focusing on anything negative, you know what I'm saying, or changing the narrative around what it is. So that's been good for me.
And you know, even with that, I see that you got some positive feedback today from somebody, so that's very...
No, yeah, that's been really, really good too. So what about for you though?
For me, just trying to find peace in where I'm at in life right now. That's pretty much it. And being able to find peace in where I'm at in life has been able to keep me moving forward. That's all.
Yeah. It hasn't been the past couple days probably hasn't been the best, like the best. Right, but still, the mentality, the ability to keep focused on a positive mentality is always what's good.
Right.
So, good. Going into the episode.
This episode, my beautiful wife, Yam's been saying I was watching, what is it, Colin in Black and White?
Colin in Black and White.
And personally,
I think.
Colin in Black and White. It's a Netflix special that he put together. What I think is like, what?
A limited series.
A limited series, what, about 5 episodes at most, I think, something like that.
I don't remember.
That's a short series. It's not your normal 10, right? Right. But I think the movie was a very good eye-opening type series, man. What do you think?
So we're gonna do a review of our perspective on that. So yeah, this is like I'm only saying that to mark where I need to put the title in the thing. You go first. What are your thoughts about it? Because you are a former football player, an athlete. So I would think that this topic specifically resonates with you differently because it's not only it's based off of his perspective athletically, but also because it involves football stuff.
Yeah, I think with first Colin Kaepernick as a person, right? I always. Well, when he made the stand to take a knee at the national take a knee during the national anthem during the football game, that made me really pay more attention to the person rather than the athlete of Colin Kaepernick, right?
I ain't gonna lie, I just thought he was a pretty face. I mean, because I have a really good person I used to work with, Ed Gwinnett, who used to have him as her screensaver. So I was like, oh, he's pretty. But I didn't think anything more of it. But go ahead.
Let me ask something. Ask you a question. Have anything to do with what we're talking about right now?
I just was saying that I thought he was pretty.
You like
Handsome.
You like him better than you like Michael B. Jordan?
No.
Anyway, so it made me pay attention to the person rather than the athlete, right? So first I would like to start there. I think that one thing about Colin Kaepernick, what made him so dope is that he was no longer a slave to the dollar bill, right? He found something greater to fight for rather than keeping money coming in, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, to be fair, it's probably easy if you made the appropriate investments. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I am not taking his stance and how he decided to move lightly. But I think having a cushion is probably also
definitely. I definitely believe that. But also, even though after he did it, he ended up making more money.
Yeah.
Than he did as an athlete.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like crazy endorsement deal by Nike, something he did. I don't know. I don't think he had an endorsement deal by Nike prior to this happening, right?
Well, but he said he kind of made an allusion to it when he was. There's a scene in the series where he talks about this dude who could have been who was one of the greatest baseball players.
Yeah.
Around the 1930s, and he had got drafted or whatever the baseball equivalent is.
He would have been the first African player
before Jackie Robinson. That's right. But they wanted him to play it up like he was a white man because he was very fair skinned and he wouldn't do it.
Right.
So he didn't do that, but he ended up being one of the most prolific painters of his time, and he made an allusion to the fact that maybe you were destined to be something greater than what you initially thought.
Right. It's funny. I was talking about LeBron James, right? He opened up a school, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, man, his purpose was not basketball. Basketball got him to his purpose.
Oh, that's good.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you look at Dre with Beats, right? Mm. Dre got Beats and he made billions of dollars when he sold Apple, right? The talent in Dre did not get him that Beats deal, right? His brand, his talent built a brand that got him the Beats deal. You see what I'm saying? His brand what got him the deal. Yeah. His talent created a brand, right? So oftentimes what you do, as a talent or as a gift, is not the end. It's not the end result. God just used that gift, I believe, to get you to your purpose. Sometimes.
That's really, really good. That's really good.
So I believe, like with Colin Kaepernick, right? If you look at, I remember he said something so profound, and I believe it touched you, right? He said,
I can tell people what touched me.
No, because I remember you had when it happened, you said, You had a moment when it came up.
What did he say?
When he said that, I just want to let y'all know I always been picked second.
Yeah.
And I know it touched you because you told me you felt like that sometimes. Like.
Yeah, because there's this mentality that only the people who are chosen first, win. Mm-hmm. And he's a clear indicator that because he was talking about how he had been adopted, from birth or whatever, and then all the qualms that he had experienced as, a biracial child, being raised by white parents, all that, and racism, whatever. Which to me it's crazy because Colin Kaepernick and I are the same age. We were born in the same year,
right? And
so he's talking about a timeline that I specifically identify with which. One, makes me feel old, like old as hell. But two, I'm just kind of like, the civil rights, the signing of the Civil Rights Act was only at that time like 40 years before. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. 30 or 40 years prior to that.
We're not too far removed.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, back to what you were saying about that. It just gave me a new perspective on not being picked.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or the feeling associated with rejection.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You could either use it to be a motivator, or you can, drown in what isn't.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But you're going to make a decision.
And it's funny, man. So I was just sitting here thinking, like, with the movie, leading up to him taking the knee, right? Mm-hmm. Colin Kaepernick, people don't realize, they think this man just made a gut-punching decision, I'm going to take a knee. If this show has any truth to it, this man was dealing with this his whole life, man. What we saw him take a knee during the football games, I believe it was a build up of everything he went through in his whole life,
Yeah, but I think more to it. It's not just that, because a lot of what he's highlighting is moments when he didn't take a knee.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
right.
yeah,
That's
okay.
exactly what I'm getting at. Right. Yep. When he didn't take a knee. Remember, because he said at one point he didn't have a voice, but now he got a voice.
Yeah, I didn't have the language. I didn't have the voice. I didn't know how to.
Right.
But now, and I think he says that he's like, but now, like, you're not gonna be able to stop me from, whatever.
Playing baseball, him having braids, and then the coach saying he got to cut his hair. And then I don't know if you noticed, they flashed specifically to this white boy who had hair down his back, right?
Yeah, or yeah, like, yeah.
You see, yep.
To show the black, because what did he say? He said, what works for some doesn't work for others.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't identify it. They couldn't put language to what his hair looked like. Like, that was a
right.
But
and it's sad because even today, as black females, y'all still deal with that in the workplace and something.
Males too, the Crown Act. That's
Right.
why we had to get a whole act.
Right.
In order
So I can wear my hair.
Yeah, so I can wear my in its natural state.
Right. And that's why I'm gonna be honest with you, just the sidebar. That's why I get so mad. There's people in my family that say stuff like, "Oh, he need to cut his hair, don't have dread."
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, how dare you, man?
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Look at a black person's hair and say they need to cut their hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you done gave into this doctrine of what Western civilization called good looking, right?
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
Now you play the same role and begin to criticize all blackness, and you're a black person because you have been able to make it in white America. You see what I'm saying? And that's the issue with what people are not seeing. And I hate that, man.
No, I agree, and I think that part of it bothers me too, is specifically because we have a daughter, and who, like, you can see that there's tension
Right.
with how she feels about her hair
Even
in its
now.
natural state.
Even now.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why. I mean, although my hair is braided, I think a little bit after she was born, I went full on like natural hair, no sew-ins, no nothing,
Right.
because I was just kind of like, I need you to look at this and see how beautiful it is. Yeah, it takes a lot of maintenance, right? A lot of work, but it's still beautiful in essence. And even I think I like this and I didn't like this. For the most recent booking that she got, they were like, hey, we want your hair out. And I thought to myself, oh, yo, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Because this is going to, my hair, my daughter doesn't have the traditional afro haired out that you see, that
Right.
you used to see in commercials, where it wasn't 4C.
It wasn't coarse afro.
It was like kind of a manageable,
Yeah, right,
or pliable hairstyle. So my daughter's hair, we're 4C'ers, so we have coarse hair, whereas not Tim. Tim has nicer hair than the rest of us, but it's our hair shrinks up, but like tight coils. So she was able to get a booking where she had to be her full on natural hair. And that morning when I was doing her hair, her classmates had been used to seeing her in braids, and she was just kind of like, someone in my class said it was different, and I was like, well, different how? Because I just be trying to what you mean kind of thing. They were like, they liked it. They just said that it was different from what they were used to seeing, and I was like, well, how did that make you feel? She's like, well, it made me feel kind of whatever at first, and I think it's because it makes her feel different.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I think the overexposure to and that's going to take part of my place on my part, because I'm the one who's responsible for her hair. And truth of the matter is, one of the reasons why I do keep it braided up is because it's easier to kind of manage on a regular day-to-day kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? But is giving her an opportunity to have her hair completely out and it being, okay for it to be like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I remember when we got back from the booking, it was still in the afro out. Mm-hmm. But she was adamant about no. You remember that?
Put my hair up.
Put my hair.
Yeah.
I don't want it like this. And it made me feel like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it has to let me know that it didn't happen here. It didn't happen when she was around us. It had to happen inside that school.
Well, or through what she's seeing, or what she's hearing, or because she could have heard, the family member talking about how hair should be, and then internalize it.
And also, she stays on watching YouTube and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, TV has this this thing what beauty looks like without even saying this is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
so they put these certain images of what beauty looks like, and it's never a female with an afro. It always,
not a 4C afro.
Right, exactly.
Oftentimes.
So that
Or
could,
like a short, like Nia, what's her name? Blackbird. She sings Blackbird.
Simone.
Nina Simone, like a Nina Simone fro.
Right,
It has to be like long and luxurious, or big and thick, and loose curls, not tight curls, kind of thing.
So, but you know what? And then it's funny. I think about Colin. What people don't realize with Colin is still in a constant protest, right?
Oh God.
He wears all black.
Yep.
And wears afro everywhere.
I love or braids. Or cornrows,
He's
right?
in
I
a
love
constant
it.
protest, man. People, you don't even realize. People not seeing it. He stays protesting all the time. So.
I think one of the things that I found that was super interesting is, and I don't know if it's the Haitian in me, but I just I don't know if I could fully see myself doing like that. He was saying a lot about what his parents didn't understand.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of like, if I'm mom watching this, I am uncomfortable as hell.
Right, but you know what? Maybe they need to know now. They missed the mark. Like their son was slowly dying while still operating.
Yeah.
Inside a house. Because you remember when he went to these, he grew up in a white environment, white neighborhood, but then when he got his hair braided and ate the food, he just felt right at home. Like never been around it, but he just knew like this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. And then mama said you need to put some salt and pepper. He loves salt and pepper. He's like, nah,
this is good. And everybody, it's like everybody collectively, all the blacks saw that part and were like, yeah.
She don't get it.
But when I think about it from a parental perspective, I wonder if they just, and this is me, I don't know, making things softer for white people, I guess, I don't know. But I wonder if she looked at that as, man, he's being further removed from me. There's because there are conversations about, you don't connect with me, you don't talk to me, you don't say things to me, and it's kind of like, if I put you in this bubble, then you'll like me more than you like your culture or whatever.
From what he was showing, it seemed like his parents were trying to make him white, right?
Yeah.
What I mean by that was,
over them raising him out the only way they knew how to raise him.
Like even when he had a black girlfriend, they didn't like her.
Oh, can we talk about this? Oh, can we talk? Okay. Yes. Let's talk about this chocolate black girl that he was into.
Right.
Right? Because there's a scene where he's walking with his black friend and his white friend. Mm-hmm. And his black friend is like, basically Colin is looking at this girl, this black girl, and is like, yo, I like this girl.
The black friend was like, she blackety black.
Yeah, blackety black, like blackety black, but you should get you a Becky. Mm-hmm. You should get you a Becky. Can we have a conversation at some point?
But you know what's funny?
No, listen, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Can we have a conversation at some point about how black men just don't like black women?
I don't believe that. I can't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
You don't have to agree.
That's not
I'm
true.
just saying. I cannot fathom, and because there is constant ridicule of black women, like y'all don't like black men as it is, y'all don't respect the black king, y'all whatever. The other side of it too is that at any given moment, y'all are willing to hop on any other race and magnify them, like Trick Daddy. And what he said one time, he's like, the Asian and the white girls, they get as soon as they start learning how to cook, they gonna beat y'all because they getting their booty. Like, we have to address this.
You know what's funny? You use Trick Daddy as an example, so we can move past it.
But Trick Daddy.
We talking about Trick Daddy.
Yeah, but Trick Daddy is the
listen to his name, Trick Daddy.
I understand. Least of the examples that we're talking about.
But I mean, that could be in some. I can't agree and say that black men don't like black.
I'm not saying, and I'm not making it. Let me.
I can also take a blanket statement and say black women don't like white men. I was just on the radio.
I just said that though.
Right. I'm just saying.
You was on the radio. You heard what?
No, I wasn't on the radio. I listened to the radio, and there was a black woman saying she would never date a black man because their credit broke. This is a black woman, so it happens both ways.
Yeah,
but
could
it be one is getting highlighted more than the other, which is the man, right? No, I'm just saying. Could it But does it happen both ways?
So you mean to tell me in your whole football career there was never an instance where the black men on your football team were more prone to going after the more European-looking female than someone or someone with a 4C hair texture?
But I see where you're going with it. Yeah, that's true. Like oftentimes that's what we see in the TV, like people who've made it, who goes for the lighter skinned woman.
Although not even a lot of I'm not even talking about light skin. I'm not talking about a different version of black. I'm talking about white or Hispanic or Asian.
That happens. That's not true. That's not true. What I'm saying is that in my football experience, high school and stuff, no, that didn't happen because in high school, we were so segregated. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when I went to school, play football, I really can't say. I'm sure it happened, but it wasn't like.
Or they make comments about how it's just easier to deal with, another race because, black women are so heavy with, burdens.
Now, I do hate when I hear men say that, man. I even hate when I hear a black man say, I only deal with light-skinned women. I think that is so shallow to me.
I guess too, I've never, as a dark-skinned, 4C hair type woman, I have never felt, and it could be being culturally, being from South Florida. I've never felt differently about who I was because I was darker skinned or I had coarser hair. Never.
That was normal in South Florida.
No, it's not even that. I just never did.
Never did.
But when I hear conversations about, and not just because there's this perspective, right, of women who are similar to me in that part, but I have also mixed race friends or lighter skinned friends who talk about all the time the complexities that they had to deal with because of their skin tone or how people judge or didn't appreciate or didn't value or didn't like or didn't think that they were pretty enough.
No, that's true.
Or would make comments about, oh, you only pretty because like that kind of thing. And I'm saying to myself, why can't you just like what you like and that be enough, as opposed to discrediting something else?
That's true. I agree.
And that's really my point about that young man. Because it wasn't just, oh, well, I prefer white women. Love who you want. You know what I'm saying? It's but you like that. That thing is and that to me showed not just a devaluation of the woman, but how he felt about himself.
I agree with you, but also let's look. No, everything you're saying is right, but let's look at the contents, right?
Yeah.
What is this boy contents, right? And they apparently they grew up in the white area of town. Went to I would say a private school. I think our public school.
I think they went to a public school.
That was on the white areas. So. And also, even with his parents, who knows what his parents put in his head? What beauty looks like? You see what I'm saying?
I feel like he's making excuses.
No. What I'm saying is, it's sad, and what you're saying is true. But I'm saying there's always something else behind it, right? What if his mom and pops, cause growing up, I remember being called "you black nigga" by my grandma because of the color of my skin. I was one of the darker ones. So you see the contents that happen. It begins to roll down. To roll down.
I never thought about this. For real. Tim is the darker one in your family.
The darker one, right? Everybody.
But I've never, because I've always thought of you as being not light skinned, but just on the side. If there's a line, right? Dark skin, light skin. I'm over here, and you're like.
No, look at our skin. Same.
No, because I'm
darker than you.
No, my hand color here is not the same as my face color.
What we're doing right now is even the problem. What's going on?
But I didn't say that. I'm just saying you did that.
No, I was using that as an example.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I never thought of. I never.
Because that what makes our black African Americans so beautiful.
I never
thought. Different complexities.
Yes, but I also never thought of you as being dark skinned.
Right, but anyway. Anyway, she thinks anybody light skinned who's not the same color as her. That's her issue. I just like my. I didn't equate you and I didn't say light skin. I didn't call you light. I didn't say you were light. And even if you were,
but I'm not. You would be just as pretty if you were light skinned.
But I'm not light skinned.
Okay, I understand. My point though.
I told somebody one time, just a joke. I said, man. If I was followed by a building and a light-skinned person had to help me, I'd rather fall.
You're so stupid.
Light-skinned person had to help me.
You see, that's a problem. That's a problem right there. No, but I just
No, but you know why? Because light skin. That came about because like back in the day, light skinned people thought they was better than dark skinned people. So.
who said that? Did they or did someone create that stigma to make you think that they felt like that?
I would say this, in my experience, one of the people who helped create it was the females. They liked the light skinned person. Oh, he light skinned, he pretty. Light skin was all automatic, already pretty to most females when I grew up. That's
Who
just what it
hurt
was.
you?
Nobody hurt me because I still got women, so it
Okay.
didn't bother me.
Wow.
You know?
It was supposed to be a joke, guys.
No.
Yeah, clearly he took that completely offensive.
No, I didn't.
but I guess what I'm saying though is that no matter what part of the spectrum you're on, like the multi-layered, the beautiful skin tones that we have in the black community, from the lightest light to the darkest dark, right? No matter what spectrum you're on, you have had an experience to where you were made to feel less than. And I guess my point though, and I'm so glad that he highlighted it, because he was basically saying, what did you say that he said in a book or something like that?
I don't know that was true. I had to go back.
Okay, well, basically he was saying he was interested and he didn't have the language or the thought process to not acquiesce to the pressures that he was experiencing. Right. And then too, what you look at with her too is that she started backing away, right? She started he was already always busy. He was already doing whatever. But I think she heard the whispers going around it too. Yeah. And she started internalizing it and separating herself. And that's another problem. Because he was still into her.
Yeah.
And she allowed herself to disassociate from him based off of whispers about something BS that don't matter, which is skin color. Mm-hmm. That was invented by the white man to hold us down and to keep us separated and to keep us divided. Period, point blank.
That's a whole other story. Because you tell the truth, people don't know that.
It was created to keep us divided.
Doing the what? The Bacon Rebellion.
Be like me and Tim. Join light skin and dark skin together.
But you know what was so funny though? If you look at that movie, the white boy was the one telling him, "Man, go for what you want."
That's it.
It wasn't the black.
That white boy had a lot of soul. Even how he was talking, I was
like, "Man, Colin, this ain't what you want, man. This ain't what you want. You want to hang with me? No, you got a future, man. Like I'm out here stealing, man."
Okay, pause. Thank you for enjoying a message from our sponsors. He didn't have a sponsor, but we just needed to reset the camera. Anyway.
Yep.
So, okay, what did I say?
So yeah, you was making a
be united, like Tim and I. I didn't even think that you may have been dark, but you're not. You're just you're in red.
You buy into the whole problem of America.
Is it really a problem?
It is a problem.
I didn't think that I would have never put us on the same. You know how they have that Family Guy image, and they have the white, the peach, the tan, and then the brown.
The show?
No, there's like a meme of him holding like a color spectrum and like white, black, like holding it close to his face. White, peach, tan, brown.
I'm not familiar with me.
Something, and then black. And then he holds it up for the like the cop is stopping him, and he's holding it up to see which like this means you can go ahead and be okay. Mm-hmm. Like if I was looking at this wheel. You guys know what I'm talking about. He's acting like I don't.
I'm not familiar with
If I'm looking at this wheel.
With minute memes on the social media platform.
Also, now you enlightened.
I'm just saying, I'm not aware.
I'll put the meme in the thing, because you know what I'm talking about. I just want to put you in the thing. I kind of just strolled by him. Okay. What else did we like from this? I'm
going to tell you, he's getting a lot of flack, apparently, from the NFL, right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because at the beginning when he was kind of likening it to slavery,
that imagery was crazy.
How he pretty. Hey, people can say what they want to, and I heard some people say you can't liken it to slavery. They're getting paid millions of dollars. First of all, that little money that they're making is nothing to the owner. For one, the owner spends money to make money. That's just the way it is. Yeah. For one, if this man can pay everybody on the team $20 million, imagine how much money he's bringing in the owner. You see, you get what I'm saying?
From ticket sales alone.
From ticket
Merch.
right. Merch, concessions.
Yeah.
Come on. So
Yeah.
that's a drop in the bucket for
But
me.
the comparisons about like the combine imagery and the sizing you up and the checking you out.
I mean, it had to come from somewhere.
That's a crazy parallel.
It's a crazy parallel, but just think about it, man. Some people want to say, no, they got to check to see if you're an athlete. No, they saw your athletic ability in college. So now why are they, let me see your wingspan. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, think about it. I'm not saying that's what it is, but what I'm saying is things that make you go, that's interesting. You see, am I right?
I mean, I've never experienced it. You would know more than me.
I mean, they make you run and stuff. Yeah. But they even do that in college. But one thing that he said was, what you're not realizing, in that combine, or even in NFL trials, they begin to, what do you say? To show start to create power structure.
Yeah. Because they're breaking you down to build you back up the way that they want you to. Yeah, okay.
And that's one thing even in the military, right? Somebody told me in the military, that's one thing that they do. They break you down to pretty much reprogram you the way they want you to think. That's a great concept. What did they do to the slave, man? They broke you down. They took your name from you. They took your culture from you. They stripped you down of everything and then built you back up the way they want you to believe so you can go into this certain way of thinking. I will tell you something, man. The slave owner, man, they was genius, man. They did. No, I'm saying
Okay, Kanye.
What I'm saying is, from what they did to break somebody down to begin to make certain slaves buy into, I love master. You know what I mean? I love him. I can't leave the master. You can look at, people say what they want to, but you can look at Hitler. Take Hitler for example, which was a terrible guy. Let me say that first. Terrible. However, if you don't see the genius in an evil person, you can never defeat him. He was genius. He was genius and able to get everybody to buy into what he believed in. That was genius. It doesn't take any old person can't do that, right?
That was similar to Trump.
You got to see the genius, man. What is this man good at? And that's how you defeat him from where he's good at. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Donald Trump was able to mass the people together, man.
But it's amassing vulnerabilities, right? So hey man, they're taking away your rights. They're taking away your guns. They're taking away your liberty. Right. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing.
But he knew what. He knew
the strategies.
He knew the strategy, right? So even the Bible tells us, right? People die from a lack of knowledge, right? You will perish from a lack of understanding. He's not just I don't believe he's just talking about knowing the word of God. He's talking about knowing the things of the world as well.
I can
you see what I'm saying? If you don't know the things of the world, you'll be swallowed up by the world. So you got to be aware of all of it, as well as the word. You see what I'm saying?
I completely agree.
So even with that, like with the NFL, man, I believe that they was beginning to create a power structure, man.
Or they continue to have a power structure, and it's not solely right. It's not solely based on a race, but because black people make up a majority of the NFL players, it can easily be construed as such. So I completely agree.
And you know what's crazy about it? I think it still happens today in today's society, right? I remember at my job at the solicitor's office, man, it was one of my supervisors, Colin Kaepernick had a tryout, right?
Am I gonna have to edit this?
And I care less.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. I say his name.
But
anyway, this supervisor, who's particularly about 300 pounds,
wow.
Go
ahead.
He pretty much said, I remember he made an ignorant statement, the old nigga statements, like what I like to call it, man. He was like, Colin Kaepernick had a trial here in Atlanta, so he moved it. So they wanted him to try I want to say at the Falcons practice field.
Okay.
And then he just suddenly moved it because he was like, oh, they can't have no cameras there. No, the NFL made a decision, I think, where they couldn't film his trial. So he was like, no, I'm moving to Reed High School, I think it was, where people can film it. And then, nobody showed up. Then I remember he made a comment saying, Colin Kaepernick didn't want to play ball, just need to shut the hell up and just play. He hurt himself. I said, no, it's not. Colin Kaepernick knew that he didn't have a chance. What they was trying to do was lighten the blow, put a Band-Aid on and say, well, we tried him out, nobody liked him. So Now they don't film it. You can't see how good he did. So now the NFL say we did something. Colin Kaepernick was like, he wasn't no longer buying into that narrative, man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He already knew nobody was gonna pick him up.
Yeah.
He knew that.
Which is sad because all he ever wanted was, like he said, to be a quarterback.
Right. And what I'm saying is, with this black guy who said he need to shut up. No, man. Why are you? What's wrong with people, man?
Well, it's a mentality,
like,
though. It's a safety net. It's a safety mentality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you, I mean, just because, hey, man, I'm just saying that you can't. Everybody can't be as free as you.
But I mean, it is. You're right about that. I don't expect anybody to even be like me, you know. But even when I hear black people say, "Man, we got to play the game," I question like, what game are you playing, man? You're not playing the game. You know what I mean? All you're doing is just buying into them, what they want you to do. Yeah. You're not playing the game. If you don't begin to stop this stuff now, guess what? Your kids got to play the game.
Yeah.
And then their kids got to play the game. The game never stops. So what game are you playing? You're not playing the game.
I mean, but there are sacrifices. But in order to play the game, right? You have to also understand that there are sacrifices that will have to be made in order to make this game in order to not play the game. Right. You got to understand that you're gonna have to deal with consequences good and bad of deciding not to.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand where you come from. Even with me, and it's not even a black or white thing. Cause like I said, my last string of supervisors
were not.
They were black, but they was horrible.
I was just gonna say they were not white.
They were.
So I am always being political. He is not.
They were worse than most white supervisors I had. You know, because what we had in this dynamic was a bunch of ignorant black people that got power, man. What was it that somebody said before? Never cross the lines of a small person with power. You remember that?
Yeah. I got.
Never get on the wrong side of
one job.
Never get on the side of never get on the wrong side of a small-minded person with power, man. And that's what they was. They were small-minded with power. You probably glad to have it so you can cut this whole thing.
I know. I'm gonna keep all of it because this is the second time this line of statements have come around, which means that it needs to be completely because I'm political.
Why you feel
by nature? I'm political.
What can they do?
I don't know. I am. Let me tell you something. It could be a matter of like. Listen, I have been told that I have militant ways. Mm-hmm. I don't think I do.
Let's stop this militant stuff.
Okay, no, not in a negative way. No.
What I'm saying, people like, oh, he's militant. That has a negative connotation, man. Like,
I mean, it does. But I guess my point is, I have been told that I was until I met you, and most people will look at you and be like, oh, Tim must be the most docile one, and Tim is not. Okay.
I am.
But
when there's something that I believe in, I'm gonna say it. I don't care.
So you should be out here lying. Just lying to the people. You were the most docile between the two of us.
I believe so.
I believe you are a liar. Tim is a liar between the two of us.
But no, whatever, man. These people need to know. If people don't know who these people are, we begin to still vote these people in office. You're right. Because nobody. Like even I'm gonna say it, even Stacey Abrams, right? For example, I love her to death, but she lined up with a black female just because they both Democrat and they have none of the same values. That's the problem. You see what I'm saying? The DA, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, she lined up with.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I endorsed her when they have none of the same values. Now this great woman, they put her backing on somebody who is horrible. Man.
Yeah, but to be fair, it could be, and this is me backing up Stacey, that she wasn't familiar. She was as familiar with whatever, and then it was the comparison too. You know what I'm saying? And so to your point, I completely agree. I think that we need to hold the blacks as accountable as we would the whites.
Right,
period.
exactly.
Point blank. Yeah. And I think that what Stacey was doing at that time was trying to do was different, but also she probably just didn't know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying you just can't hit your boat to anybody just because they're
right. all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Man. You know what I mean? So, and that's the sad thing about it. Stacey out here on the beaten path for people, not for self. The person that she endorsed out here on the beaten path for self rather than for people. Yeah. It's a difference. You see what I'm saying?
Whew, I'm gonna let this entire episode run.
Go ahead. What?
Listen feel. I'm not saying, like, I'm not even judging you for how you feel. See, this is why we talk about the black man. Yeah, like, have your feelings and feel that way and be who you are. Don't be mad at me for having feelings that differ from you.
Hey, I respect your feelings. I love
Are
your
you
feelings.
sure? Because I can't tell. So,
Do it. Run it.
I'm going to, because again, I'm a feeling. I'm probably gonna go in the editing and be like, oh my god, this is a lot. But I mean, we want to give the truth. Do you have any final thoughts about this?
Man, my final thoughts is with
Well, not the sermon part. What I'm saying, like, do you have any more things that you want to bring up in general?
No. I just like the movie was really eye opening. And like I said, I'm not saying that everything Colin Kaepernick is true. I don't know.
Yeah.
However, what he does is the movie calls you to what? Think. Like,
So, begs the question: what is your theology?
my theology is
Based
this,
on, I
man.
can't even finish the sentence. Someone made a comment to me the other day about how I be interrupting Tim.
She does all the time. Thank you, whoever made that comment.
But I just want you to go off for the record for seeing, because I be and see, here's my problem. I be editing it to make Tim look good. I'm gonna let y'all have the raw footage.
But how can that
Period,
be,
point blank.
How can that even be true?
I said what I said.
When somebody actually see that.
I said what I said.
So
What is
are
your
you saying the
theology?
truth, or are you saying something to try to make you look good in this
What
situation?
is your theology on him?
My theology is this, right?
Mm.
And it has very little to do with Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
Colin Kaepernick's story led to my thought. on
That's
this, right.
that's what a theology. That's
So-
how we normally summarize these things. But
So I can say that's not what theology means.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just this, man. You know, like I think just as many black people been criticizing Colin Kaepernick as black people, right? As
Agreed.
white people, right? Because for what they realize is they begin to put their own fear on somebody else who's beginning to step outside the box. Man.
Absolutely.
So they put their own fear on what he's doing. Like, oh, he's crazy. He's not
because it makes them feel uncomfortable.
right. He's gonna do this. He needs to shut up and play ball. No, man. Sometimes it's no longer. We can't shut up and just do. Sometimes we gotta speak out, and it might stop what we're doing, but it begins to create a greater change for everything. All right. Colin Kaepernick didn't get back in the NFL, but the NFL did change a lot of stuff because of Colin Kaepernick. You see what I'm saying? So what happens is, man, I think black people, and I'm not even putting this charge on white people, but black people, when you see something that somebody's fighting in for the greater good of everybody else, we just need to shut the hell up and just support them, man. That's it. If it's worth supporting. If it's worth supporting because it's the greater good, man. What Colin Kaepernick clearly had was something that's going to affect everybody.
Yeah.
And change the world. Colin Kaepernick, we'll be reading about Colin Kaepernick in history books at some point, I believe.
Yeah. He's gonna be a martyr, but
And that's my theology, man. Just, stop playing the game, man, and begin to play the game for change. That's all. What's your theology?
my theology has more to do with I have long embraced the notion that that almost was indicative of believing that one cannot change, right? So, like, we've gone through a series of transitions lately, and a lot of my struggle with the transition was, dang, did I make the wrong decision back then? And as opposed to embracing that something may have been good for me at
Right.
one point, but it no longer serves me in this future point. And I think a lot of his perspectives was, because he mentioned something about I thought just because my parents were white, I thought I was operating under their I thought I had access to their same privilege, and I did not. And I think that for me, my theology is that even within the scope of the circumstances that it's just in life in general. What am I trying to say? Because I feel like I'm using big words just to cover up what I really want to say. In general, my theology is that even when you've been dealt a certain hand, forget that. My theology is that who you thought you were supposed to be may not have been who you are destined to be.
That's good. You can drop the mic on that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this.
On my theology?
No, I thought you was done. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's based
No, I'm done for.
based off what you said. Like what you said, I remember I was telling you about how I buy Tabitha these shoes and stuff like that, and I buy Jordans, and she really could care less about a Dr. and Jordan. She just wants to wear some sparkly shoes, right?
Absolutely.
And I remember when it hit me, I was riding in the car. I said, man. And then what happens if I keep pushing that down Tabitha's throat, right? Wear this. This is nice. This is what dope.
This is what you should like.
Yeah. She after a while, I risked the chance of her becoming who I thought she become, and she forgetting about her whole natural self that God created her to be, right? Mm-hmm. I said, and I believe to think that oftentimes, man, like from what you're saying, like parents, culture, and people around you begin to influence who you are, and you don't even begin to walk into who you're supposed to be.
Only as a safety net, right? Because like it's a like, hey, I want you to want nice things, and her version of nice things and your version of nice things are just different.
Her version of nice things are comfortability and what makes her happy.
And what's sparkly. The other part of it too is that there's very little that we're going to be able to control about Tabitha, especially when she gets to a certain point. And like, you are always bringing up, like, I always have, because it's supposed to be like in theology, and then you always be talking after that. I think you just think but here's the thing. If you want to have the last point, just say that.
No, it don't. It just sometimes you're such a good person to bring out different stuff, man. You make me think.
It took me 3 times to get to that one conclusion.
I mean, but those 3 times caused me to think, caused the wheel to turn.
Either way, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Love and Theology Podcast.
Thank you. Peace. We out.
Don't forget to like, subscribe. I really didn't want to have the last one. I just thought that you were going to say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on our platform. Submit your questions to loveandtheology@gmail.com. Okay, for real. Man, you have the last word.
Hey, thank you for rocking with us. We're out.
Okay. I thought you were just going to say bye.
Bye.
I know I've questioned many things in this world, but I never had to question your love. So I know one thing's for sure. I can put trust in a real love, your love.
For every mom who ever missed a meal so they would have enough to let their babies eat. Fathers who grind every day to provide more than good advice. Charlie Sheen, take it